go. Connecting to YouTube Live, episode 83 of Making Turbo Pit Fighter with Jake and Cart. Gonna send a little something out to Instagram and Facebook.
You need to be louder, my friend.
Well, I'm far away from the... I'm setting everything up.
Okay. Once we start talking on camera, that's when we should start to eat the mic.
Yes, sir. All right. Looks like signal is sent. All right, we're live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Making Turbo Pit Fighter. We go live around 8 a.m. every Sunday. We're making a post-apocalyptic sci-fi comic called Turbo Pit Fighter, and we go live every weekend for about an hour or two making the comic, and we will tell you where we're at with the progress right now. First thing you should know right off the bat is you can still get copies of the Turbo teaser, which is the first 12 pages plus some bonus back matter material. And at this time, you can also order the Crom Collected that Kurt has underneath there, which is just now out, right? And just now available.
Nope. So let's set it straight. This is called the Crom Anthology, number 1, 2025. This is the Crom Collected. This is the 2024. This is out and ready. I just received this a few days ago, actually a week ago, or less than a week ago. Had to review it as the proof copy, and then had some issues that I had to work with Lulu on, and they were awesome, by the way. So thumbs up to the technical support with lulu.com. Spent an entire day, I think it was Friday, an entire day relaying out 256 pages to make sure that the trim was spot on. And then that got re-uploaded, and also had to get the ISBN assignment and the global distribution assignment. Those are complete. And so right now at the printer is the official, hopefully final copy of Turbo. But here's the thing. If you are a part of the community, which is cromthebarbarian.com, and you are on the newsletter, you have already received an email with a secret link to the pre-ordering page. Also, a deep discount code. So if you would still like to get involved in the pre-ordering process, go over to cromthebarbarian.com. There's a page that's up that says pre-ordering, but all you need to do is put your email into the newsletter. And then on Tuesday, I'll be sending the same email out, giving the secret link and the code. And then Friday, I'll be doing it one more time just to make sure everybody who is in the community is getting that email with that link and that code. But I am looking at probably, if everything goes well, Monday of next week. So that would be, and I really hate saying dates because I make you not say them either, but it's going to be the week of Thanksgiving. So that it will go live. And I do my official Can Crom Sal 100 copies without Kickstarter campaign. And of course, those pre-order numbers will be involved with that. But already I have to say pre-orders are coming in. So I want to thank everybody for getting your orders in. And also I have I have other comics up on cromthebarbarian.com. So you can get a hold of the Brutal Blade of Crom anthologies 1 through 3, Jim Gullett's Crom collection, Jeff Lafferty's Berserker Knot, Drawn Swords, Scoundrel's Dread, and Turbo Pit Fighter teaser number 2, second printing. So that is the update on Crom Anthology number 1.
All right, glad we got that out of the way.
Now on to bigger and better things. Turbo Pit Fighter.
Yeah, so I wanted to give you the first page so that you could start your inking works, but there's a question here. We have to add some word balloons, so maybe we need to discuss this. Also,
Right.
my Quark has been crashing, so I have to hit save.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so I have to save early and often. It's probably because of the font.
Your new font?
I'm imagining maybe there's something in here that it's having trouble processing. But as long as I hit save, like after everything I do, I could always go back to where I was, and I think I can muddy through it. So I just made up this word balloon that wasn't in the script because it seemed like it needs some space there.
So can we hold on just a second? I know you're anxious as well as I am. We have no interview today, so Jake and I are going to probably be here for a couple hours, sorting out these amazing pages by Alex Turbin. Can't thank him enough. Yesterday, I received the last batch. So these are 11 laid out pages based on Jake's script, The Duke. And I just want to take a moment and flip through these amazing pages. And yes, as we were setting up last week, we do have some editing that needs to get done before I can get into the final inking process. I had mentioned something to the extent of cutting pages up. I'm now probably going to retract that statement because I have hopefulness that your design skills for the pages are going to be adequate enough. Like we'll have those text boxes and balloons laid out, but if not, then we will have to go to that point. But 11 pages, and I'm just gonna show them off right now. But you can continue with your dissertation.
Yeah, I think I see the problem. The problem is when I toggle out of Quark and then try to come back in, it can't come back in. I think that's the problem. So I'm gonna have to relaunch. Yeah, so I started laying out the word balloons in our brand new created font. We're not sure we're gonna stick with that font long term, but we're gonna use it for these pages for sure. Um, I had unfortunately I lost some progress last week after we hung up. I did this area here above the masthead or the inner title.
Yeah.
There's some room here, and I had that filled with text, but I lost it, so we have to redo that. And so,
Okay.
if we're doing this live on the air, we're going to have to concentrate and think about what it says. Same thing for these word balloons. We cannot finish unless we concentrate and finalize what it says. So this is a part of the process that we have to get through. Right now I'm opening up the file again. Here we go. So this is the font I created and all the characters, and I'm wondering if this is making it screw up. I had all these extra things here, so I made I actually if you look closely, real closely here, I made some rubble, so we could just type in rubble sometimes. Yeah, and I made these kind of weird.
That's got to be the issue, Jake. I'm sorry to say.
Well, I don't know. It's not the issue right now. It seems like it's
but the thing about it is with calligraphers, they're giving you a template, and each block they're sort of signifying the letter or the symbol, like dot, period, slash, all that kind of stuff. So you're just accommodating spaces that might be registered to like a question mark, and now it's rubble. Is that what it was?
No, it wasn't a question mark. It was like the extended alphabet, which would be like the fifth version of an I with a accent on it that you see in international languages. So I definitely have the alphabet more than twice over with alternates, but I didn't leave any character unused, and so I put in things like the end, and I put in little flames, and I put in little fists and stuff that might come up and might be handy to just type out. But that's not what's crashing me. What's crashing me is it seems like when I leave Quark and come back, so I toggle back and forth between Quark and Photoshop. So I just have to make sure I hit. It might be. It might have something to do with the font, but it's also something.
If that's the newest thing that you're introducing to the program, then it's crashing the system often. It's usually that. And if you have made these objects that are not letters in that font, and then Quark is not intelligent enough anymore to read a newer font, it's
already read it.
I know, but still.
It's already read it. It's there. It's scalable. It's we're guessing, and we might be wrong, but
yeah. But I'm going back. I'm going back to the days of Quark and Photoshop and bouncing back between them, and like I said, having crashes often, and then realizing like, oh, I've been using this thing in Quark. I don't know if they had extensions per se. What were those things that were like filters or something to create like photo effects and stuff, And I got one, from a friend on the internet, and it was just a piece of shit. And once I removed that, everything was good.
Right, there was third-party extensions.
Yeah. Like there always is.
Some were vetted by the company, promoted by Quark Express, and some were not. It was a Wild West. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Nobody listening uses Quark anyway, so this is pretty much inside baseball. But whatever you use to do your typesetting and your kerning, the principles still remain. It's you're going to be moving the letters together to get them optically right. You need them to be readable. You need a nice big size.
So can I make a suggestion?
Yes, of course.
Can we just use any old font to just create placement?
We've already created placement. At the same time, we're creating the finalized artwork so that we can export it and layer it in Photoshop and flatten it in order to give you. That's the goal right here.
Repeat that again. I'm sorry.
So there's no need to do placement in a separate font when we can do it in the final font and export as EPS. So that's what I'm going to try to do right now, just as a test. Make sure there's no problem exporting it as an EPS.
Right.
I don't think there should be a problem because these are not vectors. These are just pixels.
Are they really?
Yeah. We did, yes. When you create the font, it's just scanned in, and so it's pixel based, not vector based.
You sure? I don't know. I'm gonna search that up because
okay. Right now it's just saving as an EPS. I'm getting the spinning rainbow. Yeah, if it's vectors, it has to be created in vectors using Illustrator, or I don't know if you remember something called Aldus Freehand, but there was a lot of different vector-based tools. Flash has vectors, Adobe Photoshop has vectors, but these letters were not created in vectors. They were drawn.
No, you're right. It's not. It's not. And what it just says is that it creates fonts from scanned or drawn characters and converts them into standard font file, TTF or OTF, which are vector based. I don't understand because the first sentence says no, calligrapher does not inherently use vector graphics, but then it says which are converted to standard, which is because the only way you can actually make something bigger as a digital object is if it's vector based. If it's pixel based, once you start blowing up the that image, you blast out the pixels so it gets all pixely. But it seems to be actually doing it vector wise. So it's converting. The service uses an AI to clean up strokes and can generate a font from the uploaded images. So, all right, there you go.
Well, if that's the case, then I should be able to take one of those little pictures I drew for the extra characters, create a text box, put it in as a character, make it 400 points or the entire size of the page, and then export that, and it should have smooth vector lines, which would be an incredible use of PostScript if they're actually doing that. In other words, you can now upsample things that you drew as bitmaps. I would say that was an incredible use of AI.
Right.
All right, so I just generated the first EPS test. So the artwork is still a little, it's coming out a little light and patchy, the black and white artwork, which we don't even need because we can just layer that in Photoshop. But here's the lettering, and it's nice and bold, readable. So if this is okay, we're going to proceed with this.
Can you send that to me? Because I really can't. I have no real good idea of what I'm seeing. Send me that. You can't send that page to me.
No.
So you've not cut up any of the panels. So you're just dealing with. You did cut up the panels.
Yeah, we did that last week. Remember?
I just can't see it, Jake. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Well, we spoke about it, but we moved the panels around, and we created.
So the bottom two you've cut away from the top, and then you brought it down, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah, we spread them out a little bit, and we have room on the top here for the chapter title, and we're gonna have to get probably a little more creative on the future pages that don't have chapter titles, but we can either horizontally scale them like 5%, whatever is not visually noticeable, then put some extra room in, spread them out, put some word balloons wherever they can go, and sometimes we might have to just extend the artwork to make it fit. I mean, we can have margins top and bottom, but we don't want to have it to be like 2 inches of dead space, right? Or 3 inches of dead space,
right.
So this is working.
But you're formatted, your file right now, let's say live art is formatted to 10 by 15. Like you're taking what he's basically created in the page, the inset drawing, and this is now measuring inside non-cut at 10 by 15 inches, which would then extend to 11 by 17. And then
11, 17 by, and we pushed it to resolution 363 because that's how much we could push it without upsampling. Right? We couldn't go 400, which we're trying to do for turbo, but 363 is plenty at 1117. So that's where we're at. This way we don't have to redo anything. And going forward, I guess, well, you could scan it at a higher percentage, but it's probably not going to matter. We just do that for future flexibility in case you ever want to blow something up, take a panel, blow it up, or if we're going to take our pages and blow them up to poster size and post.
All right, so I just did Photoshop. I grabbed the entire art area. Okay, I grabbed it. It is scalable to 10 to 14. So there is an extra inch to be played with. So that would be either the inch of the top masthead or the inch of space that's breaking between the top panel and the bottom two panels.
Well, this page I'm already working on, so don't have to worry about messing with that page.
But is it, Jake? But is that page? I need to know the format size of the page.
Oh, I told you already. It's 11 by 17. at 363.
No, but the live area, like, is that, but are you saying that your entire live area of print, art-wise, is 11 by 17?
Yes, but there's a
Okay.
there's a thin border around it, like maybe less than a quarter inch. I mean, sometimes it bleeds all the way to the edge like this. See?
Right.
So 11 by 17 is the camera ready art that I'm going to turn into a JPEG and send to you. And I'm planning to place the word balloons and give them back to you so you can ink them.
No, I don't need the word balloons for inking. I need the word balloons for placement of the panels to the page and the size of the pages. All these pages, Jake, are not the same size.
Well, we're going to make them the same size because they have to go in a standard comment.
We agreed on that. We agreed on that, right? I'm completely with you on that part. The part I'm not completely with you on is I don't want to end up, as we have in the past, of completing art, then putting the text in, and then having to create a large amount of revisions, which is what we're doing with Ken Landgraf's art.
Well, now that we made the font, I can lay in the words and I can make it final and I can flatten it to the art to save a step so that we only type it out once and you don't have to hand letter anymore.
So yeah, because that'll just be a layer. And then once you get the art from me, then all you have to do is scan that art. I mean, you have my scanned. They'll be scanned at 400 DPIs to the size of his original pieces of art, and then you'll have to slide and fit them in.
Well, that's an extra step. If you don't want me to give you the word balloons, I mean, I'm here laying out the word balloons so we can see where the word balloons go. Because
yeah, but I need to see them. I can't see them on the screen. I'm sorry. I need the printed evidence for knowing what. Because, like, for instance, here's another issue that I'm concerned about. Where is it? It was in the end. Oh yeah, here. Like this top panel here. It looks like there's 2 word balloons and then a narration box. But he's given me a lot of area to blacken in. We got all these helmets and stuff. Like, if there's more information that I need to make that information ahead of time when I'm doing the inking. And that's going to be based on the placement of the text, size and font and what have you on page 11. So right. I want that. I want to know that before I get going, because if I'm going to end up working on something and you end up obliterating it with a bubble or a box of text, then it just seems like there's a lot of wasted time on my side.
Exactly. That's a repeat of exactly what we spoke about 2 weeks ago when we started this. Right. And that's why I'm laying the word balloons right on top of the
So
art.
all I need at the end of the day are the copies of those pages to be able to use as a reference point to what's going to get obliterated by word balloons and narration boxes, and even sound effects if we had talked about last week.
Exactly. So you just repeated what we've agreed upon in the past.
That's all I need. I just needed that. Yep, I just needed that because I am not going to cut these pages apart. I am going to do my my graying, which right now I'm contemplating whether I should do. I'm actually just thinking about dirtying these pages up with graphite, erasing the white back in, inking on top of that, and then doing my finish, because we have 11 of these pages to do.
Right. Yeah. And we're gonna have to get creative with word balloons because some of the art needs to be shuffled around, and that's what we're supposed to be doing now. So in order to finish up this page, we need to finalize what they are saying so I can put them in, so I can put that in. Right? Like,
yes, sir.
And once we've all agreed on that, I can export the layer of text and bring it into Photoshop, and I can give it to you as a separate layer, or I can flatten it, whatever you want. I'm also going to be drawing the word balloons myself, right here, right now, correct? So that you can just work around them and you know exactly what you.
Yeah, it's like what's going to get. Yeah, it's just where I can kind of like just glaze, just pan over and just fill in with texture or black or white or whatever it is. Not, like, oh shit, I gotta finish that hand. That's the concern. I'd rather get that up and done ahead of time than later.
Okay, so now just to make this comic book make sense, we have this dizzying art for this first splash panel. I don't know if we could even call it a montage. It's like a multi-sequence panel. Up here, I'm gonna redo the text that I had. It's gonna be like, the Duke. He was not only a wrestler, he was also a hero to the resistance. Blah blah blah. But this can all fit in here. You're not going to see everything there. Here, we can have this text floating. We don't need word balloons. I think this works just as floating text that you can work around, as you do all the time in Chrome and everything. And then when we get down to here, we are introducing his backup support team, which is Atisha, the Mink, and the Drone Smith. Although we're not identifying them yet by name, they need to be saying something each. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to me. So I introduced some word balloons where the Mink says, "This is just the outer security zone. Keep moving." The Drone Smith will say, "Duke, you got 2 around the corner." But I don't have anything for Atisha to say. So I was thinking about her saying something like, the alarm, like she's clued into a lot of technology. So she'll say something like, they still haven't hit the full scale alarm or something like that. Or, you still have like, a minute before the alarm goes off. There's not a lot of room here, but we can very easily put this in between panels a little bit. See how I'm straddling this here? So she just needs to say maybe like 4 or 6 words. Central alarm, not central alarm, or we could say central alarm just went off, or something like that.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, okay. All right, so now I'm going to shape the word balloons, and then I can export, lay it on the artwork, and we're done for page 1, and I can send that to you. Then we'll move on to page 2.
Yes, sir.
All right, now up here, I had a whole thing of text, but I can't really rewrite it right now because we're live. It takes a little like thinking at the same time you're writing. It was something like many knew the Duke was a hero to the resistance. A former wrestler, sky pirate. Well, let's go in order. A former sky pirate, pro wrestler, governor, and the face of the world's most popular currency. It's coming back to me now. ... But no one knew, but almost no one knew. I'll just put no one knew because they're all dead. His final mission, a suicide attack on the inner compound of the Huberton multi-trillionaire patriarch. No, what do I see? This is where I got stuck. Also, what font to use up here? I think up here I'm going to use. I'm going to hit save just in case. And now I'm going to use. Let's try the Doom Mags regular. Yeah, that's cool. And make this 80% gray. No, maybe 90% gray. Give it a little look. Many knew the Duke as the foremost hero of the resistance. A former skyber and the face of the world's most popular currency. I don't have a apostrophe here, so I have to go to a different font. But no one knew about his final mission. No one knew a thing about his final mission. A suicide attack of the inner compound of the secret dehuberton sanctuary? Fortress? I need a word here.
Yeah, something along compound.
We have compound, the inner compound of this, the inner compound of the secret dehuberton. And we don't want to say headquarters because he's attacking the headquarters very visibly. And this is like where they secretly hide out. Enclave or... Also, do I justify the text? Do I center the text? All these decisions. I'll come back to that. I'll start doing some word balloons, shapes, as we speak. So tell me about the Comic Art Live event that you participated in yesterday.
I did not participate in it.
Oh, okay. I thought you. So you were eligible to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have the time. I've been working double time on Chrome. So I have done it twice before. I will openly admit I did not utilize the complete set of tools that they give you. Like the big thing is the commission thing that they have going on and everything. I did get the app yesterday though at lunchtime. I just downloaded it. It's brand new, or the 2.1 version of it. I'll show everybody here. So Comic Art Light Fan, the app. Like right now, I'm just following Jim Rugg, but I'm really, really excited about this app and all the potential because I'm sick to death of Instagram, like beyond sick of it, especially with all the AI Sora junk. I've been finding myself drowning in cats with shotguns and banjos on people's front steps and everything, that kind of stuff, and it's just driving me bonkers. I think there's so much potential, and obviously this is off of the secret meetup that we had Tuesday with Kezra and Matt Sardo, and I'm super excited about what they have planned. And comicartfan.com and Comic Art Live, the twice a year, November and May, and then IC3, and then the satellite IC3 programs that they're hoping to set up. I'll tell you, if Kezra accomplishes half of what he stated, it will revolutionize and I think truly organize and motivate the indie comic scene. So I really am going to be pushing this app, the Comic Art Fan app, which you can get on Google Play or the Apple App Store, and start messing around with it. And I've already started an open conversation with Kezra about, what would be most appropriate in having not only the artists communicate with one another as we do on Instagram, but to have an easier way for collectors to communicate with us, yeah, I think we're in a what do they call it, a watershed moment. It's just it's super exciting.
Yeah, it seems like they're really taking some steps to grow and become this real prominent player in the game or in the field of original art and helping collectors and artists hook up together, and them being that middleman in between that facilitates a marketplace. There's nothing wrong with that. They seem like they have a lot of like, I guess, charity minded, or what do they call it? Educational. That they're applying for like a tax status where they become like a public service, institution or whatever they spoke about.
Right.
And so, there's a lot of auction houses that do this now, like Heritage and Swans. Not just for comic art, but for all kinds of art. And comics seem to be growing. This is like a very interesting part of the equation. Where you have a lot of publishers, trying to sell printed comics, but there's you know the secret that a lot of people don't know is that a lot of the artists make more money selling their original art after they've been paid to produce it by a publisher. And and why not invest in the up and coming artists, and why not speculate, and why not wheel and deal, and just like everyone there's day trading with stocks, you could do the exact same thing with original art. And if you get a about to be famous artist on the way up, and then they catch fire, you can double up your money, triple up your money, who knows. I'm sure people that paid hundreds of dollars for Jack Kirby interior pages are are worth tens of thousands now. So question is like, who's going to be the next artist to catch fire, and how long will it take? So all those questions are really good questions for collectors who invest in this art form, and the artists themselves who are the creators. And and then the brokers are in the middle. They might know the business better than the artists.
Yes, Saboteur Comics is looking for the app. It is
Decaf or something?
No. Well, yeah, they call it decaf, but I think you have to separate comic art and fan. Let me just double check with the app. Yeah, the app is registered as comic space art space fans. And it should come up in the search, because I had done the decaf thing. And of course, there's 2 trillion decaf apps out there for coffee.
Yeah.
And then did not get anything putting it all together. But then
Decaf comic art. Just search it up in the Apple Store or whatever.
No, it's just comic. It is comic art. It's comic space art space fans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen to Kurt.
No worries. But you had, just to jump in on what you're saying, Jake, one of the best things you made as a suggestion for us as a channel growing, especially with our indie creator exchange interviews, is to get collectors in that interviewing space, because I do not want to sit back and assume that these guys are money bags and, hey, what do you want me to draw? You know what I mean? And you kind of use them as like an ATM machine, with art. A collector that I know from fine arts, like people I do know who are fine art collectors, they have a specific taste and a specific dynamic of their collection they want to put together. So, like I would assume a comic book collector would want, like, maybe there's comic book collectors out there that are looking for, just Silver Age, X-Men, pages, that would be it. But for indie, I think the toughest part is the speculation on who's going to become big, where that blow up's going to happen, because that's not going to be anybody's specific doing. That's going to be a zeitgeist, social thing that happens. In other words, all of a sudden, friends of ours are involved in something, and, it catches fire at, San Diego Comic-Con, and then it's on television, and then, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know it's just like, big thing. Do you know an artist by the name of Dave Cooper? Do you remember Dave Cooper? He worked for Aircell, and one of my favorite comic books he did is Ripple.
It rings a bell, but I don't.
I follow him. He has literally bridged between comics and fine arts and the collector stream, if you will, and I think his style is very cartoon fine arts, not as heavy as like a Robert Williams, but maybe closer to like what was his name? Yeah, but like I'm talking about like contemporary people. Like, who was the
You're not talking about the Coop, are you?
Coop would be one. There's another guy, Claw or
Cause. Yeah,
Cause. Yeah, CAWS, right? He has that.
He's multi-millionaire.
Yeah, but he was coming out of graffiti. Yeah. But it's that cartooning dynamic that can become something that a collector would identify with, and then watching an artist grow in their style. Because Dave Cooper he's one of my favorite comic book artists that straddles into fine arts, and I watch him. And like I said, he had a comic out a long time ago in a series called Weasel. I think it was with Fantagraphics, and then he collected one of the stories in there called Ripple, and I have the hardcover of that. And but yeah, we're on the precipice of something that is going to happen. Just nobody's going to be able to predict how it's going to happen. So the more information we have, is going to be the best for us.
Looking at Dave Cooper here, yeah, he looks like he's kind of like taking a Max Fleischer influence and updating.
Yeah, good point.
Kind of like a juxtapose artist.
Yes, yes.
I see some Crumb influence, but he's also got his own style. He's got his
absolutely.
Color palette.
Amazing stuff.
Right. I wouldn't even put him in comics. Just looking at that, I would just look at, probably like a West Coast based fine artist.
But he did animation. He worked on animations. I can't remember what the, anyhow, but these are things that I'm just saying are necessary ingredients for, a recipe of, individual or a group of people. Comic books, have a lot of like, people working together. So, that's also going to be something that is, I think, going to have, these kinds of effects.
Yep.
In the future.
All right, let's see. Many knew the Duke as the foremost hero of the resistance. Should we make that foremost inspiration of the resistance? Or is hero good?
I love hero.
Okay, a former sky pirate, pro wrestler, governor, and later the face of the world's most popular currency, ... But no one knew a thing about his final mission, a brazen suicide attack on the inner compound of the multi-trillionaire De Huberton's secret lair. And I need another apostrophe. Or maybe, brazen attack. And maybe I'll take out suicide and I'll put ... A suicide mission for sure. exclamation point. All right, now all I got to do is finalize this. I want a little bit of margin up at the top. I have 14-point type. Some people are never going to read this, by the way. And we're used to that. So yeah, when I give you these pages and we send this off to the printer, we'll have to make a last-minute decision about whether we're going to introduce a further margin, or we're going to, print right to the edges and then see how the demo comes back, or the what do you call it?
Proof
copy. Yeah. But this is a little bit of trial and error, and I have these kind of like grayed back tones here. They're very hard to see, but they say the secret chronicles of the. So now I just need to make this fit, and I'm going to hand kern the type that I haven't already hand kerned. This does look weird in that it's like, a homemade font, so it's a little bit like herky jerky, but that's okay. And
so I don't know if do you have your YouTube comments tab open, Jake?
I will in a second. What's up?
Okay. Oh no. We got a lot of usual suspects: Saboteur Comics, Batmerk, Raz 5558. So Raz and Saboteur and Batmerk definitely are getting into the comic art fan. It looks like Batmerk is actually he says setting up a store in Big Cartel. So we're gonna have to get a link. Give us a link. But yeah, I always got to double check because I bounce between Riverside browser tab and
Batmerk is plugging another site called Big Cartel.
And that's an online store you can just get. You can set up.
Well, it looks like you could also sell original art. It says
you can sell anything on it. You can sell anything on it. It's not just for comics.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what we're learning about then. And I think a big question is, do they make it easy for people to buy, order, pay, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, they are. They've been around a long time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Another tool in the toolbox for indie creators to consider. So they had this big Comic Art Live event. It was an online con, but for original art. And I think they were going on pretty late into the night that I saw on YouTube. They were still live streaming on YouTube, and they were going through like, what was it, like 50 or 100 of the top things for sale? Was that what they were doing?
They do a lot of. I actually caught a bit of their sketching. So about 5 or 6 guys were with Bill Cox, and Bill was moderating, and there was other artists. The amazing thing is, Jake, in all honesty, other than our little den of indie creators that we've come in contact with, I really don't know any of these people. Like, no. I don't know any of these comic book creators out there. Not really embarrassed, because it just seems like there's a ton of people out there. And also, I just have to constantly remind people, I have just no interest in superheroes. So if you're drawing a Marvel or DC superhero, you lost me, like, immediately. I am not going to waste my time.
Well, I could get into indie superhero books.
Sure, me too as well. But, it's kind of finding those people. But I'm hoping, and I want to make a suggestion to Kezra about this, is that, it would be really cool to see, like, Chris Anderson, who else on there? Eric, There's just a lot of people, especially from like the Cosmic Lion stable and the Power Pulp comic stable,
Yeah.
like, getting James Coates, Matt Shee, just getting them on there,
Well,
drawing their characters. That's the kind of thing we need to happen at these kinds of events. We've got to stop drawing mainstream comic book characters if we want to get anywhere with our own stuff.
Well, Kurt, you got to consider the collector. They want marquee names. They want Nightcrawler, and they want something that they could resell.
But what if I don't want to draw any of that? Does that mean I'm always going to be
without? That's where the rubber hits the road.
You're shit out of luck, is what you're telling me?
No, yeah. I mean, I can imagine somebody requesting a
Turbo Pit Fighter.
No, a commission, and I can see some of these artists that consider themselves above Marvel and DC commissions. I'll do a commission, but it should be my character, or I mean, nobody wants to that. Well, I'll send you a picture of my dog, stuff like that. Yeah. So there is a give and take when you're doing a commission. They might even have some guidelines, like I'll do any character you want, or I'll do any, DC character, I'll do any Marvel, whatever the person's preferences are. But there is also the distaste of the artist, and sometimes they're open for commissions, but they're not going to do like SpongeBob, and we saw a lot of that stuff for sale. I saw they were selling, production cells for SpongeBob and all these little things.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, I'm an indie creator. I don't deal with little kids cartoons. Like, these are the things that people have to do to make money, like, for real in the world, So if somebody gets work with SpongeBob, you're probably working for Viacom and whatever, but that's real work for somebody that has to pay the rent. And so I would never look down my nose at it. I just would never want to spend my own personal time drawing SpongeBob commissions, like, for any price, honestly.
Yep.
That's just, that's not where I draw inspiration. So I'm sure they made a bunch of money selling, a lot of this well-known art, because that when I was looking online, I didn't see any original characters. Honestly, I just saw popular characters, and sometimes it would be an indie character, like instead of like Spider-Man, it would be Witchblade or or Lady Death or whatever, stuff like that. But it's still pretty mainstream stuff, and that's the biz. That's fine. People do what they got to do, and we'll stay tuned. We'll try to keep people updated on the next version of it, and if we're going to be involved by participating or anything like that.
Oh, I'm definitely going to do the one in May. I'm definitely going to get that. And like I said, I want to get better acclimated to what they offer in the way of tools. And that's really what Matt and Kezra were talking about was, they need our feedback in order to, give us the tools and help us, help them figure out the best tools to getting. The one thing that has me really interested is definitely in the paid version is the tags, and being able to see what tags, which is basically what the collector is interested in getting, because I mean, the one thing I would back myself into is Conan and Red Sonja as popular characters, but I don't consider them superheroes. Like, they're not in tights and capes and these long, exhausting arcs of storytelling that I really just don't have any clue about. But to be able to find my people, and if they're and the collectors that have that tag for Conan and Red Sonja, that puts a lot of fire underneath me to put some really high-end, decent art together. and post it in the Comic Art Fans gallery, mine. And then when it comes time for the CAL, the Comic Art Live online comic convention, then submit myself for the what was it commission secret commission thing I think they had where but that's all based on tags, because like I said, if somebody was like, yeah, I would I would love to get a Kurt Brugel SpongeBob, I'm gonna be like, hello. I don't I mean, unless they want some sort of gritty barbarian, SpongeBob carrying the head of a a dead goblin and a flaming sword. Yeah, I'd give a run on that. I have no qualms in being funny and take that. It's just I've always had such a huge amount of anxiety with commission work when it comes to my past, especially in the late 90s, early 2000s, where I did a lot of commission work through eBay, that the particulars of people like, oh, I'm sorry, you're using the 1956 Batman costume. I requested the 1972. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? You know what I mean? Like, I just ended up, that was the reason I stopped doing it, was I just got these long laundry lists of having to go in. And I didn't have access to these damn comics.
Yeah.
Like they were expecting me, and God bless them. Like I said, if you're a collector, you're looking for somebody who has the same passion about what it is you're collecting. You just, as a collector, don't have the technical abilities to make the art. So you give your money to somebody who can make the visions that you want to see. God bless you. But you better be involved in SpongeBob in order to do a bang up job SpongeBob commission that's going to have any value down the road.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just think it's great that these things are an option. Now, we were talking about, so they did that.
I'm sorry, but Raz 5558 just posted. I'd rather crawl into my grave that associate with the mausoleum that is DC and Marvel. Thank you. See, this is what I'm talking about, Jake. We are sitting right now in our separate homes with right now 5 other people on YouTube who I'm going to really go as far as to say are in the same frame of mind that you and I are in. And this is it. Like, this is what has to happen and has to grow. And I see 7's October, which I know is Ralph, but hold on a second. Yeah. And he does, I just want to verify. Yeah, Angels of the Renaissance. And yeah, we've got some announcements coming with that down the road. But yeah, I just thank you guys for hanging out with us. I just want to put that out there and taking the time to put your comments, because you're probably not drawing while you're making these comments. Listen to Jake and I go back and forth about this stuff, but it's really where it's at. So
yeah, well, it's so what I was gonna ask about next was, they had that super secret Zoom call, and they made some pretty important announcements about the dates of the upcoming IC3.
Yeah.
And some of their other events, which were going to be some more Comic Art Live events, right?
Yep.
So it turns out there's not going to be an IC3 in the spring.
Right? Not in March. It's going to be September. Dang it, my notes are downstairs.
Yeah, it's going to be in September.
19th, I think 19th. Yeah, I can look up.
In Providence in September, but we just leave it at that.
Warwick. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Can't quote us. September, not 19th. That's for sure. God.
Yeah, more information to come, because we're definitely going to be trying to be there, and we'll be announcing it.
Oh, no, it is. I'm sorry, September 19th. That is a Saturday, so it's a one-day event too, and it's going to be on a soccer field. Matt said, indoor soccer field.
An indoor soccer field. Okay. I'll bring my soccer ball.
Sakabo.
So yeah, maybe we will look at some other cons between now and then.
Yes, we should.
Yeah,
We definitely should. Now, you had that one. Um,
I applied.
oh, you
Yeah,
did?
yeah. It was an upstate con. I think it was the Kingston con.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So we'll see if that comes through, but no word back. You know, I never did that con before, so I'm just coming out of the blue. So sometimes they
Well,
don't
if
know.
anything, attending it, just swinging by and attending it would probably do you less harm.
Maybe if I could pick up some comics for $1, yeah. That's what I'm looking for if I do that. I mean, I browse the tables and talk to people, but that's what I'm mostly looking for is the comics that we could bring it to our flip throughs for our comics that influence. I just found a couple. I mean, you know, you're always finding those here and there,
Right.
but all right. So I have this finalized, and I'm going to kick it back to 90% gray, which should just introduce a tiny little white halftone dot into some of it. The Secret Chronicles of is probably so. Now I'm done. Let me just make sure my kerning is good for all of this. This is just the outer security zone. I think I'm gonna move this up and put this down. Yeah, I think that like that. Right. Okay. This way I can have a bubble that has a fat middle. The central alarm just went off. Heads up. The central alarm. No. All right, Duke, you got 2 around the corner. All right, got him. Now seal the tunnel behind me, and a big 906 on the right. Dot dot dot. This means you're in the belly. Okay, let's make this dot 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 a little bit bigger. We have the dot dot dot, and then we have the ellipsis itself. They're not letting me grab this. Here we go. I'm gonna have to erase this one. Whoa! What just happened? Dot dot dot. Wow, those are some big dots. Hey, what just happened?
Big dots. Big dots coming in, everybody.
Yeah, incoming. Dot dot dot. When you make them separate, yeah, this is pretty weird. Some of this type is not acting like um, regular font type in Quark when you have it selected, but there's always workarounds. And we're at 15 points. I don't know if this is going to be enormous text or not.
Well, we're at 11 by 17 place. So 15 is, in my opinion, well, I mean, we went through this last week about how bold the font is, the kind of by double. It's almost like there's an outline in the font, so it's a bit bolder than
It's
usual.
thicker,
Yeah, thicker. But yeah, by being down at 15, you're going to probably lose 6, if not 7 points, or hopefully not that many, because then you're going to be down to 8. It'll be interesting when you print out. When you print it out at 8.5 by 11, you're going to get an idea how well it's readable.
Right. Well, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just do the whole process and then see. We could always adjust it later.
Yeah.
So this big blank spot, I'm putting in a word balloon, but you're gonna have to add something else, and it's not gonna take up the whole space. And then on the right here, I could make a sound effect, but I would have to go over to Photoshop to do that. So, what should the sound effect on the lower right corner of page 1 be?
Swish. What? I gotta look.
Oh, I already did. I already started doing it.
What it?
Oh,
Flacked.
flacked.
Nice. Oh wow, that's awesome, Jake.
Yeah, and you can dress that up too. Like what I'm
Sure.
giving you will just be. It might even be a little jaggy. See these pixelated. See this how pixelated this is. Um, so you'll be able to work on that, hide that. You can put a band around it, or you can do whatever you want to it. But
Thank you.
yeah, we're gonna be finishing that. I'm gonna be grabbing the Secret Chronicles of, and I have a feeling I need to make it darker. Let's use the eyedropper tool and see where we're at. It says, "Oh, I had a question for you. I had a big ass question for you."
Like just a moment ago, or like
No,
Tuesday of last week.
yeah, I wrote it down, but I don't know where I wrote it down. But oh, here I wrote it down here. So grayscale resolution versus line art resolution versus RGB resolution. Those are three different things. And when you're scanning a bitmap, you can literally scan it at 1200 dpi.
Yeah.
And you can make every brush stroke go to as thin as possible, and you can even pick up sometimes the texture of the paper.
Sure. Yeah.
So 1200, but it's a bitmap, which means it's either on or off. It's a black or white pixel, but it's extremely fine. The trade-off of grayscale means that you can have 8-bit or 16-bit or whatever 32-bit, right? You have a lot more gray tones that you could have, and the resolution is therefore is going to be much much lower. Like could be 300. We try to do 400 just to have a little bit of flexibility, but that's a big difference. And that's the difference between stair steps and everything. If you're trying to get like sharp line art, and most people in the comic game just do 300 at size, but we don't.
Yeah.
We try to do 400 at size. So, what about RGB versus grayscale? That should be the same thing. It's just that you have a red, green, and blue channel
Yeah.
that combine using subtractive color on a monitor, but using additive color on a printing press to give you full color. But when I used
Is there
to
a
do
question
this,
in there?
yeah, when I used to do this a long time ago, I used to have a high resolution black plate because we used to have to, before the age of quick printing,
Yeah.
for all you young whippersnappers out there, we used to everything had to print CMYK if it was color,
Yes.
or else it
Yes.
needed to be spot color, like a multi plate. So what I used to do, remember when I used to do for the men's magazines, I used to do the 2-page spreads.
Yep.
So that would have like a 600 DPI, a black holding line, and then I would do my Photoshop underneath that, and I would lay them right on top of each other in perfect register in Quark when I went to press. And this way you could have the best of both worlds. You could have your sharp, so you could have your Charles Burns hair, but you could also, have the full range of color. Um, Nowadays, you could just send something that's RGB to a quick printer, and they'll just
Yep.
hit the print button,
Yep.
and you get what you get.
Yep.
So, maybe I wonder if this changes the thinking for our covers. Do we just want to do like, a 400 DPI RGB cover, or do we want to do
I don't
that?
know what. There's nothing. Um, most of these quick print laser based printers are going to convert all files to RGB. Now, last week I was telling you about PostScript and for the PDF file to get sent to Lulu. And that was part of my education because what the PostScript does is you do not remember pre-flight check. You never had to do a pre-flight check.
Me? That was my job.
Okay. You made it sound like
I worked at a service
pre-flight. When last week, I towards the end of the episode, I was like, pre-flight, because this was at the end of the episode, because I wasn't able to expand upon it. But the pre-flight will check, the file for, any discrepancies and stuff. But it also has conversions, and I did this for Crom Anthology #1. Which I am I'll actually show off just a little bit right now. I converted my files to black plate. That's it. It's just a black, they call it a grayscale file. Grayscale conversion. But the difference in the printing of just them printing in black ink on the page is so much different because I don't know if you can find any, you can see already here, there's no blacks in this. Although my art, I definitely have a huge amount of black. Ooh, wait a second. Here you go. Here's a good example. Ba-ba! So this is the difference between an RGB on the right, Jake, and a black and white PDF file. And this black and white, or this black file PDF through the PostScript and the pre-flight check in Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Acrobat Pro. That's what I'm using to set up my books. Man, this is what I've been after for the longest time. I always assumed, and I'm sure if we got a printer on, which could be another person we add to our Comment Indie Exchange interviews, is get a printer in and talk to them, because I have a feeling that they're going to do some RGB, but they're going to do it in a way that they're not eating up just all black to the print page, especially for something that's, as, solid in printing, as a comic book, right? So there's some education we're going to do. I'm actually going to put Fireball is up in Philly. And I think I know somebody that knows somebody there. So worst case scenario is I'm going to put them on my list to reach out and talk to them. But I think we need to very much keep this conversation going, Jake, and thinking about how to prep our files and condense our files into a printable PDF that gives us the outcome that we want. Because your Turbo Pit Fighter that you printed, they were very light. And
the covers were light, but the interiors were fine.
Okay, but I wonder if that had something to do with the PostScript and it not being, it could have been like a CMYK thing that just didn't make its way across to the RGB printing. I don't know. This is all speculation. I'm not a printer anymore.
Right. Well,
never was.
Well, I noticed that
you were a printer.
I noticed you're sending me these Alex Turbin pages as RGB. So that's another reason why I mentioned it.
Oh, it's a good point. Good point. Yeah.
I mean, whoever does the conversion has a filter or a I think they call it interpolation routine, and there might be different versions and different ones, and I think the most important thing is to send your printer a file and then get back a test proof and then make your adjustments and send the file to the exact same printer, and so they do the exact same thing. So whatever you're doing to compensate, it's within the same loop system, so that
that's why I use Lulu, because ever since I started using Lulu, their tech support has been amazing. I'm talking about, they literally send me graphics and links to places online that help me get a better grip on what I should be doing to calibrate in order to get the effect that I was looking for. By the way, when I did, here's another really deep. And so when I did Anthology, Crom Collected, I put a newsprint screen over each page. You can see it here because you can see how the shift, because the book's so big and the cut left a little bit of the cream color paper to get me this less than pure white surface. Well, now with me doing the file as completely black, it's not as stark, not as dense, but it's still grittier. Like even these dots and everything. So there's a little bit more just black on white printing page like it used to be, from the offset printer. So, big move there that I made in between trying to get that old magazine effect through a printer.
Right. Yeah, and also when you introduce that little fine screen, that means there can never be another generation made of that. That no one's going to be xeroxing that, and no one's going to be ever reprinting from that because it'll come out as mud.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
All right. I'm ready now to export this, so I'm going to suppress the printout of the suppress output, and then create export save pages EPS, and I can bring this in as a layer. Everything's finalized. Went over it twice, and so this will be page 1 letters EPS, and save. I'm going to delete this little alphabet I printed out, and see if maybe that is causing the inability of me to go back and forth and just toggle programs. So let's see. So now I'm in Photoshop. Now I'm going to open up this EPS we just made. I can find it. In Alex Turbin folder, it's page 1 letters.eps. And we're going to make this 366 EPS. Oh wait, actually was it? I think it was 363 we need this to be. Right? Kind of an odd number. 363. Yes, sir. 1117 363. So when we open it, that's not a very high resolution for art printing, but it's fine for this. 363 at 1117 mode grayscale. I mean, that's right there is where I could be making that 1200 DPI line art, but we're not bothering with all that. I mean, some of that is really just anal on my part, but if the day comes where you want to make a poster out of a panel, you'll actually be able to do it, and as opposed to getting the jaggies. All right, so now we have this whole layer, and this is just going to be a simple cut and paste. And now we need to make it semi-opaque. Oh, we didn't do it. Yes, we have to. And so now we have to do the stripping. We have to knock out the. Well, I'm just going to magic wand all the white, and hit delete. There we go. Now we have everything, and it just needs to be shifted up a little bit. Oh no, it doesn't fit that well. That's weird. Okay, we'll go panel by panel, and we'll make this stuff fit. Oh no, so lesson learned. I'm gonna have to do this again. Look, see this?
Huh?
I put a system bold on my font, and it added it.
Oh shit! Look at that.
But then when I exported as EPS, it didn't work. So
Huh.
you can never add a system bold. So let's go back to the drawing board, delete that layer. Don't save. Go back to Quark. Oh look, and now Quark is letting me back in without crashing. Oh wait, are they? No, are they letting me back in? No, I'm getting application not responding. So
Man.
I have to reopen Quark every time I go back and forth to Photoshop. So that's a problem. We have a problem with the new font. It's not letting you go back and forth between the two programs easily. But it is opening up pretty quick. Okay. Quark Doc Alex. I love it, Alex. I have a little show and tell here. It's not too far along, but I'm laying out a cover for Do Mags #1, and let's see if we can see a good view of it here. I don't know if you can see. No, I'm not sure how to back this up. Oh, I would have to raise my arm. But I'm making the casualties featuring Esoteric, Claw, and Cremita. And then here in the corner, it's going to have a little bubble or a little circle that's going to say also featuring the latest Turbo Pit Fighter installment. So that's in the works. All right, so let's take this system bold off. We tried.
I gotta jump out for a second. I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. Oh, good. Now I get to talk about Kurt behind his back. I'm going to horizontally scale this as much as it let me see. It let me do it a little bit. Mini new the Duke. So I'm actually, watch this trick. I'm going to duplicate this whole text box. And then I'm going to delete everything before the Duke. And then I'm going to delete everything after the Duke. Now I'm going to lay the Duke on top of the Duke. I can make this panel much smaller. It's 4 inches wide. It only needs to be 1 inch wide. And 1 inch, not even an inch high. Let's make it 1/4 inch high. See, I just use the numerics to do that. Now, if I lay this right on top of that, now we can have a fake system bold. And I'm going to move it in just very minute ways. And now I'm going to duplicate again, make another one. So now it'll be really bold because there'll be 3 of them there. And hopefully this doesn't confuse the brain of the computer when it's outputting the EPS. But I guess we'll see now, won't we? Save. And now, I'm also going to make a note here. Photoshop. 363 DPI. Size. Save, and now save page of DPS. All this just to give Kurt the first page so he can start inking, but that should be good. All right. Now I'm actually going to close this so that I don't have to open the program again. I can just close the document, and then when I come back, I just reopen the document. That should be a time saver, or maybe not. Maybe it's the whole program. All right, back to Photoshop. We're going to now. It's making me force quit Quark. Yeah, something it doesn't like. We'll figure it out. I mean, undoubtedly the font. It's got to be. Okay, open letters. There we go. Rasterizing. Tilt down a little bit. I have been doing some sketches in a sketchbook lately, and I've also updated the end of the world timeline installments on Helpful. I think this week I also made a post on Substack about some ideas. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw you got on live yesterday on Substack.
Yeah, I did that for a while, but I also did a Substack post, which is just like kind of like a timeline post, like any other app like Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so now we have the text in once again. Let's zoom in. Now we're in Photoshop, so we're only bitmapping here.
Bit nappy.
And yeah, it doesn't really fit that perfectly. So it looks like the whole thing is a little bit big compared to what I have now. So I'm just going to do a global shrink down of it and see. It's really tight. This text is really tight. So yeah, now I'm gonna cancel that. All right, so let's I just cut and paste. So now let's just do one block of text at a time. I got while you were gone, I got my own system bold like workaround here.
So you unsystem bolded?
Yeah, I unsystem bolded it, but I did that.
That's your font.
Yeah. Well, this is
it's a huge difference.
a different font. Yeah, the system bold. You don't want to be doing a system bold
right
on a homemade font.
You hear that, people? Write it down.
All right. So yeah, I'm gonna make this. Whoops. I'm gonna make this lettering really fit well here now. So, and I think I can also lighten it up. And I'm gonna horizontally scale it. I already did all this in Quark, but when I'm bringing it into Photoshop, it's giving me a different size. So something's getting lost in translation. What I could also do is I have the whole thing kind of like selected now. I could make it like grayer, lighter, darker. I could put a halo around it. I'm gonna resist doing all that. I'm just gonna keep plugging through. Now I'm just going to place this text here in a good position, and Kurt will be working around this text to make his backgrounds and his inking. And now I'm going to move this over, just kind of put this in the ideal position, which will be straddling this border. So I'm going to make a word balloon for that right now. How do we do that? I'm going to be using the lasso tool. Oh, so first thing I'm going to do is create another layer. So there's going to be a middle layer. Now I'm just going to draw a word balloon with the lasso tool and then stroke it. Then I'm going to tweak it because it's not going to look good. And then once I have one of those drawn, I can reuse them. And I'm going to reshape them. Like so. Whoops. Yeah. I'll move this up a little. Oops. Yeah, so now I'll hit stroke. And we have this set as inside, center, or outside. Let's go with 8 points on center with 66% opacity, which means with 66% black, but it's also going to be a see-through. Now we're going to have to reposition it and resize it and move it around. So I'll do this using the transform tool and get it nice and snug. And now I want to fill it with white. Whoops. I think I'm drawing on the wrong layer here. Oh, I see. I put the layers on top of each other. Try this again. There. But instead of filling it with white, maybe I want to fill it with 10%. Let's see. But first thing we'll do is just shape the damn thing. Once we get a good shape, then we can start reusing it more and more. We don't want these clunky shapes here, so we're going to go like this. Instead, with this 65% black. I saw the Frankenstein last night.
What you think?
Some good things, some pretty nice things about it. It was a good like take on the original book, but there was some whole like backstory on why it was delayed for so long. Should have been released a long time ago. Blah blah blah. I don't know why. Guillermo del Toro, right?
Yeah.
And that actor guy from Star Wars, he was also in Moon Knight. I bailed out of Moon Knight. I didn't finish that. I know I couldn't go through it.
That's a dark character to really deal with, and that's definitely from like the Bill Sienkiewicz years when he was drawing like Neil Adams. Man, that shit was on.
Yeah, well, he was a good artist, and Moon Knight was a good character, but what they did with it is just it got too convoluted with the Egyptian god and everything, and then you lost me. They had like hippos that would come alive and talking hippos and stuff. I was like, no, not my cup of tea. Sorry. And you're like, oh man, they made a Moon Knight. Like that's gonna be great. No, it's not. It was awful. It's boring. Some of my students liked it though. Maybe it was a generational thing.
No, definitely a generational thing. I keep telling you that. They don't care about you and me. They don't care.
Yeah. No, I mean they just when you have a TV series, I think you're doomed because you just can't have enough action. You know, it's that that would just blow your budget. You have to have a
Yeah.
lot of talking.
Yep. Really good point, Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the problem I had with the second season of Daredevil. Because the first season was just phenomenal.
And then they go into the courtroom, right?
Yeah. Yep. 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 Boring.
Boring. Yeah.
You know, and it goes back into the whole like why comic books are better for telling fantastic superhero or super unrealistic stories, escapist material, is that you can do whatever the hell you want in the comic book. Like I'm working on these pages, you know, that Alex did, and you know, we're dealing with like a similar type of age and you know. Things that have inspired us in the past, and like I could see is referencing just in his own mind of wanting to see certain things, and so all I have to do is just keep flaring up the things that I know both of us can kind of feel and see in the sensationalism of the past comic book making, you know, and it's solid stuff, you know. So it's comic books are better than movies and television shows for this kind of stuff. It just is.
Yeah. Did I? Let me see. I don't think I grades on this thing now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this whole lettering layer semi-opaque, and I think I'm gonna go to 80 for the whole thing, and then we're gonna have 80 on 10%. But we might vary it. Yeah, we'll probably vary it a little bit, like between 10 and 15%, instance by instance. So here's a question: when I send you, I could send you the final art with the printing of the text and the word balloons already
Yeah, that'd be
done.
cool. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So you don't have
Like
to
I
do
said,
that.
I only need it for the reference point of where and what is being said. Yeah, the size of the balloon, the narration boxes and stuff. So I don't work myself to death where you just covered up with a balloon.
I get that. I'm just wondering if you wanted to,
But
work
editing it,
freely
well, I mean,
and,
I don't know
and
what
then
you mean by
put,
me
put the
working. There's
put
no
the
me
stuff.
working from what you're going to send me, like, you know, on top of or anything. Because I'm already working on the pages, bro.
Well, yeah, because you might dirty them up and stuff, which is fine with me. I just wondered if you were aware and you wanted to do it that way.
Dirty what up?
You might get schmutz on the word balloon.
I'm not doing anything with your pages. You're going to get art from me, and then you're going to take what you're doing right now and stick it on top of.
Oh, I'm gonna replace the.
You're just That's all I
Okay.
get. That's all. We have made that decision. I am off and running, my friend. So you're just getting the same pages from me, and then you're gonna cut them up, and you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do in the format that you and I have agreed upon. You know, working on it.
Wait, but once I cut them up, then you're inking.
No, I'm inking now.
Oh, that means I have to cut them up twice.
Yeah, it's not gonna kill you. Because
Well,
all the other work is done. But then see, you can keep tweaking if you want. If we have the time and we really want to put the effort into, like we did with Ken Landgraf's pages, where you know you're making effects, you know, to kind of help the story be told along. Like what you did with the Ken Landgraf pages was amazing. You know, it was
right. I
just
just
a
don't.
total leveling up towards the story.
Right. I just got to make sure because I thought I'm changing the art here.
All right. Well, then when I see what you send me, I can reference it in my art. I'm not printing out your
Well,
material and then making art on top of that. I'm already off and running.
but I didn't put the word balloons on that. I thought the whole point was you wanted to see where the word balloons are going to go.
Yes, I do. And I'll know visually where they're supposed to go. So I'm going to steer clear of this area, because you have had to put this in. You put the word balloon and narration blocks in there, or you added an effect. That's all.
So what I'm doing right now, I moved these panels apart, moved them up, moved them down, skinnied them up, horizontal scale, all this kind of stuff, right? And so then I'm putting the word balloons on, send them to you so you could ink them. Right? With the word balloons on, so you don't have to do any guessing.
No. I don't understand why you're stuck on that. All I need is the reference point, because these pages are going to get inked. And then what you have laid out will go on top of them. And then you'll make that final pass to make it all work together.
Let's go through it again.
Oh my God. I don't understand, Jake. I don't understand why you need me to work on the pages, unless you're stuck on me, like some sort of like functional sequencing of how I've made pages like Turbo and moving forward. I mean, that.
No, I think it's.
I don't understand. I don't understand what you are trying to get me to do.
I want to make sure that we're both on the same page about the sequencing of what's happening. Because I'm putting word balloons on just plain blank line art that Alex gave us with the intention of giving this back to you, either flat or layers, whatever you want, so that you can ink it. And you'll know exactly where the letters are going to go.
Nope, I just need to know where all the letters are going to be going, and the boxes, basically. Because if there's going to be, I'm not going to spend a lot of time in an area working on it.
No,
if it's just going to get covered up. If it's just going to get covered up.
I got that part, but you told me to download Alex's art this morning, right? So I'm downloading the art.
Okay.
And then I'm moving it around and putting word balloons on it.
Okay.
So that
I'm inking it. So we have the same piece of art, both of us. You're doing what you do, which is the layering and some effects. And I'm going to ink it. And then those two things are going to merge together once I send you the pages for art.
So it sounds like we're going to need an extra step at the end of making sure that you didn't move anything around differently than I did.
Yeah, I don't know how that would ever happen anyway. So, because the thing we're learning on the fly right now is this third element of collaboration, which is awesome, by the way. Cannot thank Alex for spending the amount of time and energy. And I think we're going to try to get him on next week, at least to pop in, and kind of jaw with us. But there's a whole sort of like process we're figuring out in order to expand our collaboration beyond you and I. And with that being said, you and I's collaboration is still being figured out as well, hence you making your own font. So yeah. I would beg you to not hammer anything down into stone yet. We'll have a whole dedicated episode 2 years from now where we can do that. And it'll probably happen on the fly where you're going to get sick and tired of me contradicting in the process, which you feel is overworking, where I don't completely get it. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. Because both of us have different sets of responsibility. The skill set is in order to make a bridge that both sides understands each other's time and production value.
Right.
All I'm supposed to do is ink.
I just got confused because you said, because I thought that you were gonna wait to ink anything until you got the placement of the word balloon.
Yeah, and I can eye it. I can
Right.
eye that this is going to get, if this is going to get blocked out, I don't have to do much more from that. But if it's not, I want to do something to it. I just don't, I want to put a little extra time in there so it has a visual effect, not, but if it's going to get covered, I'm not going to spend that extra 5-10 minutes on it.
You don't have to.
Because if I have 25 of those positions times 5 to 10 minutes, that's a day's worth of work.
Yeah, that's not the part I'm confused on. That's getting repetitions. I already know that part. The part I didn't know is, when are you going to work on it? After I'm done with it, or
I'm working on them now, Jake. I'm working on them now, right now.
Right. So you're not waiting for the word balloons.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
But you're working. See, that's what I don't get.
Okay, here, look. Let's talk about my style of inking. I do not ink from start to finish, top left-hand corner down. I take all of my pages and I give them the skeletal black and white treatment, just black lines on white paper. Then I'm going to come in. I'm going to use the white, liquid masking. That's going to it's basically going to capture all the areas I want to keep white. And then I do the gray graphite wash. Then I remove that. And then I do all of the juicy, fun, textural, and toning value in order to get that black and white effect. Printed in a magazine that I'm always after. That's what, like I said, the big thing that I am accomplishing because it's happening here. You can even see it like in the work especially when I use black color pencil. Like that's all just black color pencil in order to get that over the top of an ink wash. And then of course you get this like white, and I'm in heaven when it comes down to where I'm going and what I'm doing in the way of effects and getting it printed out black and white. I'm just not with these two sets of storylines doing the lettering. Well, I did it. No, did I do it for? Yeah, I did do a pass on Ken's the casualty story, but that's what we're still figuring out.
Yeah, my only confusion was whether I was going to be inking, whether you were going to be inking before I give you the placement of the word balloons or not.
I am. So I've already started. I've already started.
Right. If I have this right, you're not waiting for the word balloons, but I'm making the word balloons, and then we're going to.
I am waiting for the word balloons. I am. Trust me. The sooner you get me the word balloons, the easier it's going to be for me to make decisions in my inking.
Oh, so you're saying you're doing like a skeletal all page consideration?
All the pages. I'm not working on page 1. I'm on page 3 right now.
Right.
So anything I'm doing right now, it is what it is. Like it's not even finished, if you will. But once I know placement of word balloons and blocks of text and effects, I know where to steer clear and putting the concentration of my detailing efforts.
So then you just need to give me a big disclaimer saying, Jake, whatever you do with the word balloons, don't change any of the art because you're making a different ink.
No, you can still make that. You can still make that change. It's a template. It's a template for you to then bring in that art and do the same thing to the final original stuff. And you might even change your mind. You're very good at that.
Yeah, but that's after you.
Everything's been done on my side. Yep. All you're doing is getting ahead of the lettering part and the proportioning, resizing of the pages in order to get all the pages to be configured at 11 by 17. Those are the only two things you're responsible for right now.
Right, but you're inking. But you're inking the same pages on a different version. See my concern?
Yeah, I understand you're trying to streamline our
So that will only ink it once.
our process. But I'm trying to get you to understand that we are light years away from having a streamlined process. I'm sorry to say that. It's just, it's not going to work right now. It just isn't. Like, I need to get going, which I have today. And so when we meet at some place right now, which is going to be 11 by 17 configured pages in Quark on your side with lettering on top, and I hand you the complete inks of Alex's pages, then we're going to be at that crossroad. I can't tell you what's going to happen or how it's going to happen. The one thing I'm hoping is the minimizing of any effort beyond getting the pages to completion and to print. That's my goal, because my goal is to have my pages done by the end of the year. So once I have the pages done, it's really just down to you putting that final magic on top of everything, and we start talking about formatting. And that would be optimal. That would be optimal, because the majority of the work right now is 11 pages need to be inked by me in 6 weeks, 6 Sundays. But I have December off, from Crom particularly, because I'm not in deadline mode yet. So I could probably stretch out and put some time, a day or two in throughout the weeks to get these pages pushed. Right. That's our process at this point. Every Sunday, Jake.
Yeah, the one thing that I don't get is if I'm taking the raw pages that have to be reformatted, and you send them to me raw, and I'm reformatting them, but then you're inking them. How do we reconcile those two things? So then at some point,
it's just a layer. It's a layer of fonts on top of art. That's it. You're gonna get finished art. You're making a dummy right now. That's all you're doing. You're doing all the legwork for a dummy. That's it. You're not making anything final right now. Trust me. I can put money on it.
See this page right here? Let me center it. Okay, see this page right here? So this is.
That's not final. That's not final.
Oh, okay. So I shouldn't waste my time doing anything on the artwork. So this was a mistake because I moved these panels apart, and I also introduced gray tones here to make this, not be so black and white. Just like
it's not, Jake. Jake, we still have to format the pages for 11 by 17.
I did. That's what's done here. That's what I did here. That's why I was a little confused why you're working on the inks before you get this back for me. And I'm glad we're having this conversation so we could hash this out so we know what's going on. I think you told me just now for the first time I shouldn't be doing anything on the artwork at all, including breaking the panels apart to make them 1117, because you're going to do that. Right? So I'm just making the text layer. Hello? Oh, I lost you. I think I lost him.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? I'm back. Okay, I'm back.
Right. Okay. So
going along. We've been at this for 2 hours, so I'm just running into some things. So look, with the rant I was trying to inject on, you just went through. Yes, you do need to manipulate the pages because you need to configure them for 11 by 17.
That's what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Right. So,
but it's just template stuff. I just think of it as template stuff.
That's new. That's new. So let's go over that so I make sure I understand. What I'm doing is not for a purpose. It's just for like a guide for later on. So we'll do it again twice.
It's up to you. It's up to you. I mean, we'll know when we get to my pages being completed.
I don't. Something's still sticking to me. So you're saying, Jake, take the raw art and then reformat it but don't use that
For what? What would you use it for?
for the comic. For
But I
printing.
haven't finished inking.
Right. So
I don't.
you don't
Okay.
want to reformat.
So what am I supposed to do if you're finishing the pages now?
Exactly.
Then you want me to ink your pages. That's the thing that's not connecting between the two of us. You want me to ink your pages right now.
Well, I'm almost done with the first page, right? And if this doesn't work, then we can talk about something else. I just want to be clear that
Yeah.
I'm not right. I just don't want to break apart the pages and then like fit everything in, and then that's not being used for anything. I want to.
It's all being used. It's all being used. Yeah.
Right. So, right. So the process is going to be your ink. You gave me the raw
Alex Turbin inks.
to
Raw Alex Turbin inks.
right. So I can put word balloons on that.
Yep.
And try to stay flexible. Then you're going to ink it, and then I'm going to throw away everything, and then get your finished inks, and then I'm going to break them apart and format that for 1117.
Well, I was hoping that could get done now because we're both using the same Alex Turbin page. Configuration by size and space.
Well,
so you're going to end up with my finished ink version and then lay it in your template there, and then you're going to jockey it around.
Right. That's the new thing when you say template instead of saying that I'm
working. I apologize. I just found that word.
Intermediate, not to be used step, which is just a placeholder so that you can see where word balloons are going to go.
Yep.
Right, and I shouldn't really spend too much time on that. And matter of fact, we probably shouldn't even be doing that. We should probably do things once rather than twice.
Jake, at this point, like I said, that would be an amazing feat, but I don't believe we're anywhere near doing that because our process is not hammered together. Once again, we have to, remember that we only do this every Sunday, and most of the times it's for an hour and a half, and then we have an hour and a half that we spend with the guest, or we flip through comics and stuff. But right now we're in. I'm hoping to just push us through 3 hours a Sunday moving forward in order to get both Ken and Alex's art configured to the stories that you've written. And then we've got to lay out the book, and we're looking at 32 pages, right? Yeah. And then we got to fill out the rest of those pages, format it, and then get it out to the printer. Which at this point, it would be amazing for us to say, yeah, we'll have that done by the end of the year. But I'm just using the end of the year for myself right now, which is that's what I want to deliver to you, is 11 completed Alex Turbin, Kurt Brugel inked the Duke pages.
Right.
So I was totally hoping that
you want me to take the time to lay out where the word balloons are going to go.
Yep.
Right, which I can do on a layer, and we can totally use it.
Cool.
As long as I'm not messing with the art at all, because on this first page, I put in gray tones, I put in word balloons. I didn't do too much, but I kicked back some of his images here so that it's not so confusing, and it makes a little more sense why there's multiple Dukes in there.
Yep.
So going forward, I'm going to leave his art as blank as can be, but I'm still not clear if we're moving stuff around to make it 1117, how I can put the word balloons in and not finalize the conversion at the same time. See what I'm saying?
I keep using the term template. That's all I keep seeing you working on right now. Like, it's literally kind of similar to what I'm doing right now, which is like 80% of the work you would hope you make accomplished is there. And then once you get my final pages inked, you'll have the ability to then merge them into the template and then take the rest of that time to just jockey it together.
Template. All right. So
Yeah, it's a new term. I mean, I'm embarrassed to not have used it earlier, but I work that way. Just to be clear, I template out my entire books, if you will, in stages, and then just keep combing through them. I think for me, it there's a lot of flaw that comes in the continuity. If you start at page 1 and you feel like it's finished, and you go to page 2 and you feel like it's finished, and you go to page 55 and you feel like it's finished, time grows you. And so when you go back and look at page 1, you're like, shit, I grew 55 pages long. You know what I mean? Like I changed my style. I did, these different things happen to you. I like trying to keep an overall kind of consistency in my work habit throughout the pages as I keep moving through them, one at a time in a temp. And then once I get to the end, I look at that whole thing and I say, okay, I got to bump up that. I got to kind of suppress some of that. You're not going to do this. I wanted to do that. There were like 5 things I wanted to do for Crom Anthology. Number 1, that just didn't make it. And it was just because it didn't curate together in 256 pages. Matter of fact, it went from 220 to 256 because I added a huge amount of artist gallery space for the Brugel Blade of Crom crew. 20 of those artists got double pages in there because I wanted to promote their efforts for that. So that's, I apologize if I was working with you on an assumption of like one and done, like, production value is at one and done, but I don't work that way. And I don't really ever want to work that way because I find the work to be very weak at the end of the day because it's just in a production line. I'm not saying that's how you're working or want to work. I'm just trying to bridge the gap between our misunderstanding and communication. That's not fully working right now.
I think the miscommunication was that I thought you were gonna wait until I was done with lettering pages.
Yeah, but that would be a month and a half, Jake. That'd be a month and a half. And what would I do for the next month and a half?
That's fine, but we just never said that aloud.
I did. It's been 3 weeks.
Well, when I started doing this, that was the impression that I was under, and so we're changing that because it's clearly not going to work on the timing. So we're doing it a different way. But I just don't want to like Photoshop any of Alex's art and then it's going to be discarded.
I would be curious to see how much actually does get discarded. I mean, I don't know how completely.
Well, if you're starting from Alex's line art,
yeah,
then it's going to be discarded. That's why from here on I'm not doing anything to Alex's art.
Other than conform, you've got to have an idea of how you're going to configure the pages to 11 by 17 with the text.
Right,
and that's breaking the pages up.
Right, but that means at some point we're going to have to take what you're doing and we're going to have to redo it. We're going to have to somehow, we're going to have to take the ink stuff and then conform them twice. That's the step I'm trying to avoid.
I don't know how we do that unless you just want to wait until I'm done and then you do what you do, and then I've spent extra time on pages where you're going to block over it with text.
Right, that's the thing. We have one guy doing the inking, one guy doing the lettering, and
because we have a good template in the way of Alex's pages.
I don't know what you mean by template there. We have Alex's pages. We each have it. We both have something to add to it. But then it's got to be like, I don't know. I don't understand why you don't just, if you're starting ink, just make it the right format, and then you'll be done before me. It sounds like.
Not in the past where it gets to, not in the past where it comes to you lettering it. It becomes an entire chore of then formatting it to speak. There's a consistency in the editing of the script, and I'm just trying to get over that now than later.
Well, that has nothing to do with the formatting. The formatting is it a standard comic size. And if you make it a standard,
But we're not at standard comic size, which brings us to step one, stage one, which is, we never, and it's our fault. It's not Alex's fault. He does pages the way he does for random access. And he got a script, 10-page script, added another page, and he hammered out his pages the way he hammers out his pages. There was nothing explicitly said to him, hey, these need to be 11 by 17 with a live area of 10 by 15, which is a standardized comic book format that both you and I just agree. Cosmically, we agree at that point, but we can't just assume everybody else does. Yeah, and here we have these amazing pages, and we've got to format them because you want the consistency of 11 by 17.
Right, but I think the only question left is who's going to format them, and should they be formatted before you ink them? Because then, if they are, then I can just get them and put the word balloons in. Is there some decisions that that I need to make?
But the word balloon, what you're doing right now will take 6 weeks. I'm thinking, maybe less because you're going to get these hopeful 3-hour Sundays moving forward. So you might be able to lay out the text and re-edit it, in order to fit what you see in Alex's work, and then that's said and done. And then my pages will start coming to you, and then you'll have to reconfigure them for some amount of effort, as a template, as I said, in order to make it work. But you are the final say as the editor. You are the final say as the editor.
So I think what you're saying is that when we're reformatting them, we have to make decisions. Well, maybe we can put in a sound effect here, and maybe we can move these. We introduce some words here that aren't on the script to make this reformatting work, and that you're not going to be making those decisions, but that you want to forge ahead with the inking.
Yeah, I just want to know. I want to know ahead of time how much change do you foresee?
Right. Well, that's the thing. If you're inking, I can take your inked panels and reformat them before I do the word balloons. So we only have one process, and we're not duplicating anything. We're not losing any work. We're not having to do anything twice. You're going to be inking. You're going to be inking way ahead of my lettering. But then you say there's some final stage inking that you want to wait until I'm done with the lettering, right? Because you do 80%, or you do skeletal page.
And while this is happening, I'm hoping you can just lay out the book, lay out these 11 pages with the finalized script and sound effects and predictable effects that you would like to see in there. That's all I'm hoping, instead of it being at the end as it has been up to now.
Right. Okay. Well, let's see. I'm almost done with this page. The next page going forward. So can we do it that way, where you're going forward on working on his pages, but then you give it to me of what you got, or how's this? In the belly of the beast. Because when I start page 2, that's page 2 that you haven't. Oh, that's page 3, right? You're already done with it. So, right.
I'm not done. I'm just the skeletal part of it.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's coming together, I think.
I understand, Jake, completely that you want to streamline things, but arbitrarily creating streamlined methodology based on both of us individually having a past at making our craft, comics, that hasn't merged yet. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I know with the almost 4 years of working with you on every Sunday, I'm still taking care of my duties, which is primarily inking art and being some sense of sounding board for the storytelling and the flow. But you're the alpha and the omega of this, since you have the control over the script. So at this point, I'm basically giving you a time period to be pre-editing before you would have to just get everything and edit it together, like in the quote unquote Marvel method. Where you get the art and everybody knew what the script was basically about, and then you put all this thing. The only thing I'm asking for is the placement ahead of time of the word balloons coexisting with an 11 by 17 format, which both of us completely agree all pages should be formatted to.
All right. Well, as you say that, I've just completed page 1, and I'm going to merge these two. I just merged the word balloons with the lettering,
Cool.
and they're separate from the art. But on this one, I did alter the art, not just moving it around, but also grayscaling some things here. I didn't change too much, but I did some touches, and I noticed that his pencils are very visible on the final art that I was given.
Yep.
So sometimes I'm in there erasing that, right, because they're clearly pencil marks. So just like anything you come across when you're just doing final touch-ups, it's you fix it up on the fly. So maybe for page 1 we might have to work a little bit differently from page 2 and beyond. But I'm ready to
I agree.
Okay, so I'm ready to send this to you now. I'll put it on a jump drive.
Cool.
And yes, so hopefully we don't have any duplication on this. Now, do you want me to flatten it?
Yeah, you can. I just need the page to print out 8.5 by 11, so I have a visual of where the text is going to lay.
Well, if I give it to you flat, the text will be on it. But now so how do you work from there? You print it out?
8.5 by 11 as a reference. I'm not doing anything with that page art wise.
Okay, so page 1. So that what you're saying, all the alterations I did are going to not be used.
Of course not, because I would cover them up and if I inked over them.
Right. So we're going to. So I shouldn't flatten this at all because we're going to be doing this again.
No, you have to keep it as a template to interface with the art that'll soon come from me. But I just need a flat version of the print.
11, does that mean you're just going to print it out and look at it on your table?
Yeah.
And then kind of eyeball? Because when it comes to like this, right, I figured I was giving you these little text blocks right here. I don't know if you can see. Let me see if you can see. Okay. See these text blocks right here?
Yeah.
And then you usually do this kind of gray stuff around it, like in Chrome and all that, right? So how are you going to be able to?
Don't worry about Chrome. Don't concern yourself too much with Chrome. Just concern yourself with what we've done with the pages up to this point, which has been different from Turbo to Ken, the Casualties to now Alex. This is our learning curve right now.
Right. So we did this in Turbo too. There's some text that's not in a box, not in a balloon.
Okay.
Right. So in order for you to make the art around the text and not bump into the text, you're just going to estimate that by eye, looking
Correct.
at it.
Correct. I'm basically not going to put anything
right.
you're going to cover up with that text. And if I can create a treatment, in other words, like, oh, it's black text against white, I would highlight, make those areas like brighter, that kind of thing in the way that I move along.
Right, but that means I need to be flexible because what you're going to give me new art, I'm going to pop it in here. So page 1 is just a learning curve.
Absolutely.
Accident, right? Because I made all of this kind of stuff here, and I silhouetted it where it goes right up against the art and everything.
Yeah, but it didn't take you a day to do that. You can do it again because the template's there. Right. You could do it again once my art comes in. I don't see how it's that big of a drain on you. Unless there's something there's something in your approach mentally you need, which once again I have to
I just want
basically just apologize for not being aware of.
No, it's okay. I'm not worried about. I'm not emotional or anything. I just want.
I understand.
Workflow. I just want to fix the workflow. So page 2, page 3,
Mm-hmm.
like okay, we did this on page 1, and then Kurt gave me ink stuff. I had to lay it back in the second time. But then on page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we didn't do that. We did it a different way. So So I think what we can do is if you have separated panels and nothing is spilling over a panel, I can move those things apart and then replace them later perfectly without any hard work. And I have
definitely made that decision on my own, because the extra steps in cutting these physical pages and gluing them down, it's not going to create any conclusiveness than to just deal with the art as is, and then make sure there's a delineation. Here's a good example, Jake. Where's the page? Here it is. And I made a note. And so I'm hoping, because this is from last week when we were having a conversation. You had made an editorial statement that you would wish that this panel was on its own, basically kind of stood out from this repetitious, action, right?
Yeah.
But I am going to, as the inker, make an effort to bring this forward in the hopes to then be able to take whatever your thoughts are and merge with it, and then really make it happen in the final effects that you have over there in Photoshop and Quark Express. So, these are just things mechanically. I would love to have this with the text laid out as an 8.5 by 11. I can make notes.
That page, that's page 1, which was a learning curve page, and it's already done on my end in layers. I moved it apart. I grayscale things. I silhouetted things.
Send it to me. Can you send it to me right now so I can print it out?
I can put it on a jump drive, and I can sneaker net it over to my other computer.
Thank you.
Right, and so and I'm also going to chuck this intermediate step here. So I'm giving you a layered PSD file. You're going to be able to deal with that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So this is fine. Now so we're going to have to take a look at all these pages. If they're all within a panel border without any spillage over, and
I'll make that happen, though. That's my goal. And it does look that way. I think only page 1 had bleeding panels together.
There's got to be some splashes coming with the light.
Not really. Oh, what, I'm losing you now? Oh, because you just jumped out. Your jump drive jumped out.
Let's unplug my mic. So can you still hear me?
Oh, I can.
How's the sound quality, by the way? Is it
a lot better? It's clear.
That's a lot better?
Oh, yeah.
What about when I'm over here? Is it still good?
Yep.
So that means built-in mic is just as good as the
Yeti. Better.
Better than the Yeti.
Okay, so there's no gutter on page 11. I can see, but like I said, I would definitely make that happen. Same thing in 10. Yeah, so 10 and 11. A little bit here on 9.
Well, I saw you drawing the panel borders before.
Yeah, you see it. Yeah, you see it right now.
Right, and there's nowhere where you can't do that, right? So.
Well, I didn't do it. I can once I go in with like the finalizing. I can start drawing lines in and then dealing with separation. But right now, I'm just dealing with what Alex has delivered, and because I made notation, from there, which is just a part of my approach in inking. So. Yeah.
Okay, let's figure this out.
But I would love, and I think this is something for next Sunday, for you to just give the entire day to each page. Take the whole day, not the whole day, but we'll do another 3-hour stint where you're just opening up each page and they're giving a 5 to 10 minute treatment on each page, so you have an understanding what's going on at that layer. You will agree with me that for an artist, a visual artist, to just kind of see something is one part, but when they're physically inside and working on it, whatever it's the penciling or the inking or the formatting in Photoshop or the publishing platform, whatever it is, your mind is registering and seeing things differently. By just seeing art, you're like, wow, that's really cool art, But when you get in there, you're like, wow, that's interesting how he made this decision, but I'm going to go this way. Or no, I'm going to keep that, but I'm going to do this. You have a different way. I'm hoping that you can sooner or later touch each of these pages in Quark with some text and some notes to basically be ahead of the game than getting all of my versions of the pages to you, and you going, oh, I wish we didn't do that. Oh, I wish you would have done less of this. Oh, we should have done more. Oh, the story would have flowed better. Blah 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 blah. Which is what we've experienced definitely from Ken Landgraf's work. Which a lot of magic happened.
So this is a 40 meg file because it's in 2 Photoshop layers. I don't know what the big deal is, but apparently. Let me see if it's going to send in an email.
You're going to drop. You could dump it into the Drive folder I gave you. Dump it in that same folder, that Google Drive folder.
They'll let
dump
me
it in there. I think it should. Let me see real quick. Let me see how much. I mean, if you're saying 40 megabytes, right?
40 meg file, yeah.
All right. It
says sending, so it might just
okay.
Go through.
All right, so you already got that going.
But it's clogging up. It's probably because I'm on Riverside at the same time.
Exactly. Which we should experience some crashes, people. Hold tight. We got turbulence.
Turbulence.
We got turbulence.
Yeah, it's so weird that it's such a big file. I don't get it when it's in PSD format. And now I'm getting no, it didn't work.
Okay.
Because it says the maximum is allowed by the server is 35.9. And my message, even though it's only a 41.2 megabyte file, my error message says your message is 55 megs.
Yeah, wow. You got some bugs going on there, buddy. So you've got 6.44 gigabytes free on our Turbo G Drive folder for Alex's pages. So you could definitely drop that in there, which would work better for me, Jake, because then I can just look at it on the screen for right now, because I'm terrified of like crashing during a download and then trying to print, which is just not going to happen. So.
All right, well, let me go to the email where you give me the link.
Yeah. Because I did give you, I should have given you like full parameters to that drive. That folder.
See. And it's loading Alex's Duke pages. I'm going to do a drag and drop. Right about. I have to have both folders with me.
Bunk Soul Brothers. Check it out now. Bunk Soul Brother.
Okay.
Right about now.
Yes, it did give me access. It gave me drag and drop access. So it's
I still love you.
Mm-hmm.
Right, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're not, so note to self, if you're not doing anything special with it, you're just going to be printing it out to look at it, then I can make a flattened version, a temporary flat version, as long as I don't flatten my original. And
exactly. Oh wow! Look, it just showed up, Jake. Bang.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow. Yeah, that's hot. That's hot already. All right, cool. Yeah. No, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah. All right. All right.
So now I'm going to page 2.
Awesome.
And
That's
let me
awesome.
see. Did I actually? No, you know what? When I had the jump drive, I didn't actually copy them all over like a jerk. So let's
Like a joke.
eject. It takes so long to eject a USB drive. Why is that?
Apple.
I don't know. It's hardware, software. Okay. And then there's this other thing where it's like you remove the drive without successfully ejecting it first. You're a
Correct.
bad person. You can damage the disk and the files and everything, but nothing ever gets really damaged. It sounds like it's just reprimanding. Daryl Grant says, "Good morning, Crom Unity. TV and movies." Raz says, "TV and movies can't in any way do what comics do.
Never.
In costume for 10 minutes out of 6 hours." I know.
Jesus.
I know.
Oh my God. What a waste of time.
Major fail. Major fail. So disappointing. Let's not even talk about it. But that actor, he was also in like Star Wars Rogue One. You know, he's like the latest guy. I saw him in a pretty good like indie movie with John Goodman. He played like this folk singer, and he was accused of knocking this chick up, and he had to like bring her to get an abortion and everything. And in the end, it turns out he wasn't the one that knocked her up.
Yeah. You're talking about Oscar.
Yeah, his name's Oscar something.
Yeah, Oscar something. Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome.
Well, he was so he was good in Frankenstein. He was Baron Victor von Frankenstein.
Victor von Frankenstein.
Oh, I see the problem. I put this on my jump drive, and I didn't actually transfer the Alex file. So retardation. Can we still say that?
Oh, I can. I do it all the time. Makes
not,
my wife walk away from me.
I'm not supposed to
every time.
All right.
Those are words I keep trying to explain to her. Like those are boy terms. You know, it's just boy. They're boys being boys. Like quit being a retard.
Well, they're going to rotate the word out after a while.
Who is? Who are they?
They already did.
Who are they?
Well, when I was at,
I didn't get a memo.
When I was at, I visited Yale with my class on a field trip.
Yeah.
And who's outside but this whole table of Yale students, and
stop saying retard.
They're asking people to sign a pledge not to say the R word anymore.
Really?
So that was.
Are you kidding me? You're kidding me.
That was years ago.
Oh,
no, this has been going on for a long time. You know, the Association of Mentally Challenged, whatever, handicapped people, whatever they call it, they've been saying don't use that word for a long time.
Okay, but I'm not referring to those individuals. I'm referring to you, my friend.
They don't want. I know they don't want. Yeah, that's the problem.
So are they worried? Are they worried that my friend Jake is a mentally challenged individual that it has not come about, and so I'm probably harming you emotionally and stunning your growth by referring to you at very, 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 very few amounts of times that I have been in your company as a
right. So what they're saying is, no, don't compare our kids to what Jake is. He's
to what Jake is.
Jake's something really bad, and our kids are born, that
geniuses.
way.
Geniuses.
No, they're born with whatever, but they're not like, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we just have to clean up our language every couple of years. Because something gets a negative connotation, and they're calling people that are not mentally whatever challenged retard, and that they don't want anybody to use though. It's like the N word. They don't want anyone to use anything.
When you try to control language, you're messing around with a whole bunch of other things.
Well, that's what's going on with the N word.
Oh, yeah.
You have a lot of people that use it for outrage.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about Karens. I'm talking about every single rapper, that has the ability to, to use the N word because they have free range. But they're doing it. They're calling up like a powerful, emotive, feeling. Anyway.
Well, they're owning the word. That's the
whole. Take back ownership, right? That's one thing. Take back ownership.
Which is cool.
That's cool. Which is all great until the white guy's doing it at a karaoke bar, and then everyone draws up.
Talk about losing your job. Talk about you losing your job 3 cocktails in. Oh, what song do you want to do, Jerry? I want to do this 50 Cent. I want to do this 50 Cent, but I'm going to change the A to ER.
I want to do DMX. No, you ain't.
And then you show up to work on Monday and they got everything in a shoebox and they're like, Jerry. Oh, boy, we didn't know this about you for the last 15 years you've worked for us, but we're going to let you go.
Yeah.
What? You're going to let me, what?
Sorry, pal. Never should have done it.
This world is just amazing.
The world is a vampire.
Bam, 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 bam.
We're in some interesting times.
Changing. That's what things are doing. They're changing. Society is changing. And all I have to say, Jake, is I'm hoping it changes for the better.
What did I say? It's 363.
Whatever the hell better is nowadays.
All
right.
Okay, so I got my new key. I think it's 363. It's a pretty random number. And look, if you can see, if we go from this to this, can you see what's on my screen?
Oh, wow.
That's the difference.
So that's you doing an auto adjustment to the actual scan page 211 by 17. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, and this is if we horizontally, scale the art. Now I'm not for this because here it doesn't work.
Yeah,
it's stretched. But
there's always those weird areas it just doesn't translate.
Here it doesn't seem to make a difference. Here it doesn't seem to make a difference, but here it does. So we're not going to do it that way. But so I'll just delete all this and then I'll paste, and this is right back exactly how we were now. Now it's time to think about, we got to move some of this stuff apart. I mean, to me, this is a real easy fix. If we enlarge these eyes, we can get there. But now here's the big thing. We've been over it a million times already today. Should I be doing this right now, or should you? Because you're going to ink and you're going to give me some new eyes, and there's going to be panel borders, and so we'll just have
Let me grab that page. Where's that page?
So I think what you were getting at, where like, Jake, do it again when you get my stuff, right?
Well, I don't want to put that much on you, but where the hell? That's page 3. That's page 2. Where the hell?
I mean, we could, as long as I'm staying flexible. I know what we got to do here.
Like I've already, this is boxed out, which is also a huge benefit for us. So whatever does happen in there's nothing stopping from you grabbing that and expanding it to fill because you want to go there. And to be honest with you, it's the same kind of treatment that, happened in page 1, where cutting along here and then moving it, it's like 75-80% of that is being covered up by blocks of text. So, nothing, we don't really have to
hold on.
worry about anything.
I'm looking at this page. On second blush, I'm looking at this page. So, no, this isn't to complicate things. It's just to simplify things. But we're also, moving through. Now I notice he's got this explosion. Let's look at one panel at a time. He's got this explosion,
Yep.
and it's going full bleed on the left.
Yep.
Now I have it all the way up to the panel border on the right. So we can't do anything with that one. But look at panel 2. Panel 2, it doesn't. There's nothing. There's a whole inch of white margin on the left. So what I'm going to do before I even mess around with the eyes is I'm going to grab all 3 lower panels and I'm going to enlarge them, which with a 10-15% upsample won't be noticeable. But see how right now I just got us so much of the way there.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah,
it's what you do. Jake, please take this moment with me. Let's hold hands. This is the example I could give people in you being an excellent editor.
Problem
like
solved.
Yeah, but you're doing it with an ironclad layer of storytelling. It's not just like, for me, I don't have it. And I'm never going to try to pretend like, oh yeah, Jake and I. No, I'm not. I've always deferred to you because of this skill. And that's why I want it happening now than after I've finished all the pages. Because now now that I know that, it sinks into my head and I'm like, ooh, I mean, I'm not stupid. I know what you can do when you cut something out and you blow it up and you push things down and stuff. But to give that a greater effect when it gets blown up, that's just a little bit more I could put in ahead of time than you coming back later going, okay, well, if you could do that, Kurt, then do it. But then we got to rescan the page and then you got to resend the page and then you got to bring this piece in. You know what I mean? Like, can't we just try to get as much of that done pre-flight check?
Yeah.
And that's exactly, like I said, like if we could do that for all 11 pages, if you could just bring in, each page and do this looking at it and saying, yeah, well, we need to hit here, cut it, and just do it, physically cut it and do it.
Key is Kurt is putting everything inside of a hard border so that everything that I'm doing stays within the confines of the hard border. I'm not changing proportions, but I'm making things bigger, but I'm not changing proportions.
Correct.
But we also, right, so now I'm moving this down to the bottom, and I'm also going to be enlarging the eye. But I'm also going to have to take a look at the word balloons. We're going to
text,
balloons, and because we might need some more room somewhere else. So I just did all this stuff relatively quick, and this is painting if I have to do it again with your final inks. Not a problem. And it's just that now we know what we're up against. And like if I'm making these things significantly bigger, this is when it's gonna require you to give me stuff higher res just in case.
You get a 400 DPI.
Yeah, but you see how I'm kicking stuff up like 25% now?
Right.
That means you got to give it to me 500 DPI.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Note to self.
500.
All right, now let's bring in the script. So now we're going to have to, so I'm going to hit save, and I'm still staying flexible here.
Right.
I'm gonna save what I got, and I'm gonna come in to Quark now. But you know what? I'm also seeing that it's kind of cramped. Panels 1 and 2. I'm gonna just move that down here. So when I give you word balloons on stuff, you're gonna see like, yeah, this stuff is definitely moving around.
Yep.
Okay. Right, so let's hit save, and I'm not worried. So there's a couple places where this will have to be fixed up. See, like right here, because I didn't necessarily lasso anything, so this will all just like work out in the wash.
Okay.
Yeah. I could have lassoed it, but I didn't. Maybe when you give me the stuff, I'll lasso it.
Okay.
All right. So why is it trying to? Oh, it's trying to say. Sorry, if I flatten image, I can save it just as a simple JPEG.
So just a time check, Jake. We are 15 minutes to 1 o'clock, which would run us for 3 hours, which I think is a perfect amount of time for us today. We have definitely accomplished a lot, but we could use the last 15 minutes winding down. If anybody has
read
comments
some
they want to
comments.
make? Huh?
Some comments from the live chat.
Heck yeah! What's going on over there?
Well, Raz heard us talking about the R word and
Right.
said that men use rough language.
Yeah,
Avoid the
that's
hurt.
right.
I'm all about the negative connotation. I am the negative connotation.
Oh boy, there you go, Raz.
Right, that's my point. That we can be self-deprecating.
That sounds like a rap song.
but they don't want. Yeah. All right. Anyway, they. Bat Merck says I'm an advocate of free speech.
Ooh.
Right. Well, I don't think they're telling you can't use the word. They're asking you to sign a pledge. Most people did not. I allow myself to say anything that the black guys get to say. Don't buy the magic words, Brugel people. Well, anything? Yeah. No, it's like if you're Irish, right? Some Irish people say, "Yeah, the Irish we drink a lot," and it's different coming from an Irish guy. He's the first one to admit it, right? So if you're saying it,
well, that's really the point. Is the company you're in. I mean, if you're gonna nowadays run around and spew crazy stuff, you're gonna end up in a negative situation. But if you're amongst your buddies, I mean, it's just I don't understand where there's this like paranoia. I reconnected with a friend of mine a couple months ago, and one of those friends where you spend a lot of time together, and then all of a sudden something shifts, like they get married and have kids, and you're not spending as much time with them anymore, and then the kids are growing up, then you had to spend more time anyhow. But so we've been hanging out a little bit, and a couple weeks ago he's like, why we weren't hanging out as much the last time and it stopped. And I was like, yeah. And I go, yeah, I mean, it's no big deal. And he's like, yeah, but I thought you were leaning more towards the extreme left. And I'm like, what the hell was I doing saying? He's like, I don't know. There was just something I got from you, like feeling wise. And so it kind of turned me off. But now I should have asked you. I should have just been a friend and been like, hey, dude, are you like leaning to the extreme? Because we're having a lot of these open conversations about what's going on our walks. And he was just embarrassed. He was just like, and he apologized too. He was just like, I just should have stopped and been like, look, we've got years and years and years of friends. You're starting to say some really strange things that I don't completely, you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. Where are you coming from? Instead, he was like, nah, I don't want to hang out with you right now for a while. Right. That's just a perfect scenario of what happens in the world all the damn time. So if two people just stopped and said, hey, look, what are you talking about? Like, seriously, where are you coming from and where are you going? Oh, well, just, okay, so you're just saying okay. See ya.
Yeah, well, there's extreme polarization, and I wouldn't even worry about friends because I would worry about families and daughters and fathers that haven't talked for 9 years now.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of misunderstanding in the like finer print, in this unsaid, you're not to say or not to do, or you're supposed to say and you're supposed to do, crap. You know what I mean?
Well,
my mama brought me up on one golden rule. If you're good to people, people should be good to you. And if those people that you're being good to are not being good to you, then leave. Just leave. Stop.
Yeah, well, that's what's happening. The problem, and it's a problem if you're having like Thanksgiving coming up, and everyone's got their Uncle Frank, and he might not, if you're in New York City and Uncle Frank's coming from upstate, it's a different world. And, the media is purposely trying to manufacture sides and and circle the wagons. And if you believe this, then you're a bad person, or if you believe that, you're a bad person.
Wow.
I mean, we really do try to avoid politics on this podcast, and sometimes we
Well, this is
slip in.
social. This is all about the social
I
part
mean,
of
it's
it. I don't think it's really
unavoidable
politically leaning.
sometimes, but I mean, when I am on other podcasts and doing stuff, I I can't wait to talk to a person that's on the exact opposite side of me. Like, I'd much rather do that than sit
Oh
around
yeah.
with people that agree with me,
Oh yeah.
because you're not getting anywhere.
Boring.
Yeah,
Boring.
and on the other thing, it could be confrontational. I'm not gonna say, like, I even tried TikTok, where like I had me versus six guys, and they're not letting me talk.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they ultimately just kicked me out.
Yeah.
And then they say I was lying. But um, it's you're not trying to convince them. You're just trying, to present the best arguments so that the people in the middle can make up their own mind, whether they choose that side or my side or whatever. It's discourse, and that's I think that's the good thing about our country. We have free speech to a fault, and if you see a lot of free speech, it makes the listener make up their own, draw their own conclusions.
Yeah.
And we are very impressionable people. I'm not gonna lie, Americans are extremely gullible, malleable, impressionable, impulsive.
That's just human beings. That's
Yeah,
human beings. That had
well,
nothing to do with being
Americans.
American. Just human beings. Stop it with
mm,
the Americans. Americans are impressionable. Come on, Jake.
Americans are no
Oh
Americans.
god. Well,
Americans
maybe outwardly because we have so much inalienable freedoms.
No, they did.
But
I saw a documentary on it, and this
I
was
saw. Oh god.
yeah, I saw a documentary on this, and this was Republicans and Democrats
Taking us down one of
were
these holes.
were wired up to one of these, like, cerebral things where they can see you, they scan your brain activity when they show you images and they show you videos, right? And they showed not only Republicans but also Democrats that were saying one thing, and then they present then they present a fact check that shows, this was a long time ago, so we're talking about like John Kerry, but they showed, like, a fact check that he was clearly lying about some position, and the Democrats would refuse to admit it, and the Republicans would refuse to admit it,
It's
and
called
so
narrative. It's called
it's
narrative.
stubbornness. No, it's stubbornness.
That's
They
can
say
be.
that, and the conclusion of the researchers was that Americans are much less likely to change a position once they've established a position. That's all.
Okay. So look, minutes to go. Once again, can't thank everybody that's hung out with us forever. How long you have get to
We do
jump out and do
a lot.
anything. It's so
Definitely.
damn cool. I mean, you want to talk about like not taking something for granted anymore. This technology is pretty awesome, and it's a big milestone for Jake and I because March will be March or April-ish. I have it in my calendar. It'll give me a notification. It's like our yearly mark. And so our anniversary is coming up for 4 years. I remember explicitly off camera saying to Jake, like a year and a half in, going, I don't think anybody's really watching us. And kind of having that feeling of like, is this kind of a good idea or should we try something else? And you were just like, let's just keep going. It's just about you and I getting together oh, that's right. But our channel's grown. It keeps growing. And
It's grown.
and we
GROAN. Grown.
yeah, grown. And and then the inspiration we both get in wanting to grow our channel in different ways and stuff is really about being down there and in the chat and in the comments suggesting things to us. Why not? why not? Let's give it a shot. And that's what Jake and I are all about every Sunday. But before I say good day, just want to give a nice second reminder that right now, if you're a part of the community, cromthebarbarian.com, which means you're on the mailing list, you've received an email of 3 emails that gives a secret link to a URL and also gives you a steep discount code in order to get pre-orders for a 256-page sword and sorcery madness anthology based on Gardner Fox's public domain character, Crom the Barbarian. And can't thank those who have already put your pre-orders in. The other thing, too, I want to add is gotta work on this. I have other books as well. So the Brutal Blade of Crom Crew, that's 3, 2, and 1. I fulfilled. I purchased more, and I have them available as well. So you can add to your order. Of course, the amazing drawn sword, Scoundrel's Dread, dark concept art, intergalactic bounty hunters. This is an amazing book. There's also a comic that's coming soon called Karnak from Drawn Sword. I just reconnected with him. He also has an 11-pager in Crom anthology called Crom the Courageous, which Ron Parsons was a part of for writing it. Crom Collection, Jim Gullett, first 4, his stories from Lucky Comics. And then Jeff Lafferty, which is still one of my favorite interviews in the way of getting him out of the reclusiveness that he hangs out in over there. His copies of Berserko Not. So just supporting an incredibly creative person. The hope is once I get the final proof and I sign off and approve that, I will start shipping the pre-orders first. I will be taking orders to the public and trying to do what I did last time, which was can Crom sell 100 copies without Kickstarter? Last year I did 73, so I'm really hoping to tip over that 100 mark. But Jake, that's all I have today. Let's let these people get back to reading comics, making them if they choose.
Right on. So if you're interested in our other channels, we have our Comics That Influence channel where we do flip throughs. Haven't done it in a while, but there's at least 50 episodes on there of cool flip throughs. I'm just waiting for one of the days when we're getting it clear. We're going to be doing some great flip throughs of these things that got backed up here. Also, we have our Indie Creator Exchange, which we just wrapped up for the year. Check that out on our homepage too on YouTube. That's called the Indie Creator Exchange, where we do interviews of great indie comic creator pros and other people. So see you back here next Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Bring your pencil, bring your paper. We love when people are drawing and hanging out. We'll see you next week.
I'll see you next Sunday, Jake.
Peace.